Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 8 of the We're Young But Justless podcast on the Sports Opinions Podcast Network of podcasts, as it is officially named now. Thanks to my boy Alex Klessa. He made a good new logo that you'll see on Spotify, Apple Music, and all that fun stuff. So this one's a quarantine special where I get my pal from the first episode, Kris Lowery, back on. And we run down some fun stuff you can do inside. We recommend the best comics, best movies, and some video games. All stuff you can do inside because it's crucial to practice social distancing to keep everyone else around you from getting infected, because you never know who you're going to come into contact with, especially if they're elderly and more at risk from having bad symptoms in related to the COVID-19 virus going on. So this is all fun. We don't get into sports and all that fun, all that negative publicity around that with the March sadness. Today is all fun. We gave you some recommendations, and have a gander. Enjoy the show.
He is. Swing drive, right center field. The Braves have won it. Elliott starts right, cuts it upfield, touchdown Dallas. For the win! Bam!
Got it! Got this! And the Scarlet Knights win it! There is pandemonium in Piscataway!
Hello, everybody. It is episode 8 of the We're Young But Just Us podcast, quarantine edition, part 1. We're gonna have quarantine. We're under quarantine. If I can get my buddy Alex to put a little quarantine logo over the pictures we put on, that would be like good for branding, I guess. This time I'm having my buddy Kris Lowery on. We did the first episode together, impromptu episode where we're going to share some recommendations with you for this social distancing. How you doing, Kris?
Good. How are you? Oh, thanks for having me again.
No problem. I think you, me, and along with a lot of people are going to have a lot of time on their hands.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a lot better than the alternate, fellas. I will do this again. I'll do this again at the end. Guys, stay inside. This is a big deal. This is like, if you can, as someone said, if you can get your family sick, if you're going out, people don't show symptoms right away, and this is a big deal. We don't want to crowd our hospitals. You hear the horror stories in Italy where they have to choose who's going to live, and yes, they're going to have to choose who lives and who's going to die. So if you have, especially elderly family in the house, in your apartment, whatever, just go out as little as possible. Wash your hands. If you don't have hand sanitizer, don't hoard the toilet paper.
Yeah, that is the craziest thing that I'm seeing. I'm like, what's going to happen? What are we hoarding the toilet paper for?
Did you see oh my God. Well, number one, I think Twitter is going to go back to 2009 craziness. It already has. And number two, Kris, did you see the tweet of saying day 2 of an only toilet paper diet? Oh no, who thought this was a good idea?
That's got to be what people are doing. That's the only thing I can imagine you're doing with that much toilet paper.
Yeah.
Season it a little bit, throw it on the grill, and see what happens.
You know it. No sports for this one. I'm going to have another one coming up in a couple days with Jeff Greer from The Athletic, where we'll do all the sports and all the negative stuff, because that's all negative. It's sad. A lot of things got canceled. This is going to be all positive. It's going to be recommendations on how to spend your time with entertainment in the house. You got your traditional board games. Have fun with your family. This is going to be, we're going to start out with, because this is a comic podcast, comic recommendations. And then my buddy Kris, who's a big smaller movie guy, is going to help us recommend some movies that are on streaming services that you might not get around to seeing if we were living in a normal world. So take advantage. So we're going to have fun with that. So let's start with the comics, and I'll start it off good. I think biggest one off the bat, if you are indoors, because this is the best time to catch up on all these great comics that are coming out, I think I'll start with an older one, and I can't hype it up enough because I just did the 20th anniversary blog piece, is Brian Michael Bendis' and Mark Bagley's Ultimate Spider-Man. So that is my first, if you can get off the bat. And of course, a lot of these recommendations will be found on the streaming services Marvel Unlimited and DC Universe, which are great libraries. And of course, if you have the floppies and the hardbacks, do that. And I think a lot of comic book stores are going curbside delivery for these. But back to the point. Ultimate Spider-Man, I cannot recommend it enough. Have you read it, Kris?
No, I haven't read the entire run. I know a lot of the things that happen here and there, and I've seen the bits and pieces, but that is just a long list of some of the classic and older ones that I haven't completely read, but I have a good knowledge on them. It's just, like I said, I'm just now getting around to having an actual comic shop near me.
Which is awesome. If you have a comic shop near you, definitely check it out, people.
Oh, yeah.
Support your local.
Definitely
It's like
support
supporting your
local
local businesses. It's amazing. Comic shops are awesome. So I'll give you a rundown, Chris. I mean, you know the basics if you're a comic fan. Ultimate Spider-Man is the modern 21st century reimagining of Peter Parker's origin. So I mean, it's modern. It's still modern because I mean, it was still the internet. It's the beginning of the internet age. It's 2000. It's 20 years ago. But I still see a lot of similarities. I just read it a couple months ago, and it's just a fun read. You get got a lot going on. You get your favorite characters reimagined. It makes you laugh. It makes you cry. I mean, it's like if you know, if you had followed comics at all. Sadly, spoiler alert, he dies. I mean, if you saw Spider-Verse, that's what it's based on. That it's the Ultimate Universe. You know he dies, and that's what made it more powerful for me. It's just like, damn, like I'm enjoying seeing his character progress and see him grow and seeing the people effect on people around him and their lives. Aunt May, Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane, the Osborns. And in this universe, it's a great entry point because a lot of it, the ideals of this and seeing him grow, you can jump over to 616 and see the same thing. Like, if you read Ultimate, there's no really difference in his ideals. And it's just an amazing story, Chris. If you can get around to it, it's the art by Mark Bagley is just beautiful. I mean, he has some great artists come on. And then the best part about it is, even after Peter dies, the run never stops in quality because Miles comes on, and it's a different story, a different type of character. He's from Brooklyn. He's half African-American, half Hispanic. And the story continues greatly. And especially if you love Spider-Verse, you definitely need to check out his Ultimate run. Get to comment because you've seen Spider. I thought you had the Spider-Verse quote in your bio, don't you?
Yeah, I have it. Yeah, I love Spider-Verse. I know it has a lot to. I guess it piggybacks a lot off of the Ultimate Spider-Man story, like you were saying.
And also, of course, the movies that have come out are strongly the Far From Home and then the one before that, Homecoming, are definitely Ultimate. So if you're a Spider-Man fan and you're on lockdown, dive into 18 years of Brian Michael Bendis' Ultimate Spider-Man. It goes through like 5 titles, but trust me, get a reading order online. It'll be it's not too hard to go through. All right, Chris, what do you got for me? I rambled on enough about Ultimate.
Oh, no, you're good. I'm going to see if I can give out maybe some of the newer ones, some bigger ones, I guess, just because I know they're easy to get their hands on. I see them flooded at the shop here. So it's a bit of a mainstream one, but I'm just to something to just sit down and read and enjoy. I really, 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 really just enjoy my time reading War of the Realms. Like I said, I know it's a big one. It had a lot of hype behind it. And it's not a smaller story, but if I was looking at my collection and realizing that I'm locked in here and what am I going to read through, I would pick that up again and read it in a heartbeat because it's just a really fun story with just a bunch of different characters. It has a feel maybe like the movie, so if you're someone that really enjoys the movies and you don't know, too much about the comics or just how guys might interact in that, I think it's something that is an easy thing to catch on. It has a lot of the interactions and the little things that you really enjoy from the movies, and it's a digestible read. You could just get, just the main run. I think the main one without all the side stories is like, let me see if I can eyeball it from here and dig through there.
Jason Aaron. Jason Aaron's a great writer, and he's been
Thor.
He did Thor for the whole decade, and that's like his pension with I can't say the word. It's the end of his run, and he's just an amazing writer.
Right. Yeah. I think that was a big swing for me getting it. Obviously, I like to read some of the bigger, more connected things, but with it being Jason Aaron's the last one, I was like, I definitely have to get my hands on it. And looks like the main connecting story is only about 6 issues. They're not hard to digest. They're not really long or really complicated, but you're stuck inside and you're just looking for something to just, I don't want to say mindlessly, but just something to just enjoy and take your mind off everything else, just have a good read. That is something that I would recommend. With it being newer and pretty big, it's pretty get your hands on, I will say.
So we're 0 for 2 on bust both reading our suggestions. I have not read War of the Realms. I got into Marvel with the X-Men. So, like, I started with X-Men when Hickman jumped on it, and then I started expanding. So, if we're, let's do a current one. So, if you can go to the store and get your hands on this before we completely shut down, I got to recommend, if you don't want to get too big into the universe, check out Matthew Rosenberg and Otto Schmidt's Hawkeye Freefall. That just started. We are on issue number 4 that just came out, and it's just a completely good time. It is comedy. Have you read that?
I haven't gotten around to it, but I've seen a couple people talk about it, or more than a couple. Literally everything I've seen is just what you said. It's really just a good time. So I think I am going to try to, after this, maybe tomorrow, get to the comic shop and grab a few things here or there that I'm going to get to read. I'm finally going to be able to get in there and get House and Powers. They've got them.
There we go.
And I was like, don't touch them at all. I'm coming.
So we'll wrap that up. I'll get 2 out of the way, then you get 2. Since you brought up Hickman, I got to do it again. Get Matthew Rosenberg from Peak Comedy. It's just our biggest hits. You don't have to know too much of the universe. It's just fun. Hawkeye Freefall is just, you'll be laughing the entire time. We'll come back to Hickman. I'll come back later. We're not going to break up this vibe here. We're a very unprofessional show. But Rosenberg's Hawkeye Freefall, Kris is going to pick it up. I've been having a fun time with it. What do you got, Kris? We're all throw it back to you. I'll keep the flow going.
Let me roll over to my humble stack. Like I said, I didn't get much time to prepare, so let me roll.
Oh, no problem. This is all off the cuff tonight. All fun.
Dig through what I've got. Let's see. I think to give maybe something non-specific, I will give a character who is starting to emerge. He's being put in the spotlight a bit. He might have something coming. I think anything Moon Knight that you can find in a complete series and put your hands on is worth picking up and reading.
I haven't gotten too much of him. I've seen him pop up in some stuff I read, not too much. I don't know which runs are the best. I think I've heard the 80s stuff is the best stuff. I don't know what he's been in recently, though.
I will say I see that some of the older Moon Knight stuff might be better. And not that the newer stuff is bad, but I think that they lean a little too far into the things that make them interesting, if that makes any sense. Like, it's almost like, I don't want to call it a crush, but it's more so relying on, well, he's got this and that, and I don't have to really try to bring anything original to push the story forward with him having multiple personalities. I think sometimes you lose with some of the newer stuff, the outside story, the story surrounding him. You can kind of get away with making that not that engaging because he'll be facing it as 2 or 3 different people an issue. So, but I think the older stuff had really compelling stories. So I will say anything with him that you can get your hands on. I know that's tough, but like I said, he's booming a bit right now, so he's not the easiest to get complete runs on. So anything like that you could get, definitely give it a read. He's a really interesting character. Mark Spector is a character that in the issues and stuff that I've read, I think I like him more than a lot of characters that I've just been reading here lately.
Again, if you can't get to the store, just go get Marvel Unlimited Comixology, search Moon Knight, and just dig in. Yeah, Moon Knight's a funny character. I saw someone post the sun versus the moon on the Marvel subreddit, which is the Sentry. It was the Sentry, who's Marvel's Superman, versus Moon Knight, who's Marvel's Batman. And the funny part about that fight is there's like 6 personalities in that fight. The Sentry's a nut with multiple personalities, and Moon Knight has like 3 personalities, if I'm correct. And it's just a lot going on there in those minds. So this one's very timely, I would say, and it's my favorite Batman story of all time. If you want to talk about getting into the mood, which I think these are going to be, when it comes to my movie picks later, are definitely in the mood of horror and all that, or in the mood of like quarantining and all that, is Batman No Man's Land. So if you want to get into, so No Man's Land is a story that ran through all of 1999 across like 7. So there's 4 main Batman titles, a 5th semi-title that came out sporadically. Nightwing, Robin, Catwoman, and there were like 8 titles, Azrael. And so there were a lot of books back then. In all of 1999, they involved being within a closed off Gotham City from the rest of the world. So if you want to dive into like the crazy aspect of the world just shut down and all that, and you want to take it to the extreme, I would say get your hands on Batman No Man's Land. And of course, if you want to get really intense, there's a story called Batman Contagion that leads into No Man's Land. It is one of the factors for the city getting closed off. So if you want your comics version of the Contagion movie, read this insane disease that was created and almost wiped out all of Gotham in the chaos. So if you have peak anxiety and you're like, hey, I want to continue to get scared about all this craziness, pick up Batman Contagion and follow it through Cataclysm and then No Man's Land and just see society shut down. Because there you go. And it's an amazing story with some great character development. You get to see interactions of like everyone is tested. Villains are pushed to do heroic things. Batman's pushed to his limit, which I don't think he's been pushed to. Like, you can talk about this current stuff, but I feel like this is a good character study of Batman because he has to rediscover how to do things in a land where nobody will fear him because everything's just like the society's collapsed. And you get to see him and interact with the entire Bat family in a different way and just see the world around him change. Like, there's a great line with Commissioner Gordon where he says if he really wanted to know his identity, he would have a long time ago. And it was just like, that's just like my favorite moment from the whole year-long saga. If you can get your hands on No Man's Land, I'm looking right at it on my shelf, and you want to feel the environment around you and how bad it could get, read No Man's Land. And this is a subject I will definitely come back to when we get to the movies, and they are for my movie picks for the most part. So what do you got for me, Chris? Anything current, anything old, any more recommendations on your part?
Let me dig through here some more. I'm going to see something. Everyone read Civil War 2. No, I'm just kidding. Everyone stay away from Civil War 2. Please, everyone. Whatever you go look for, if you see Civil War 2, leave it alone. Walk away.
Leave it alone. I'm going to have to read it.
You don't need it.
I'm reading it, man. Dude, I'm reading it no matter what because I'm killing Bendis right now. I'm reading everything. Even the bad stuff.
That's fair. That's fair.
Dude, Man of Steel, that is a mess of a story. The run gets better for Superman in action, but dude, that first story is a mess. Goodness. So if you want to have a bad time, read either of the Civil Wars. I said it. Either of the Civil Wars.
No.
Yes.
Listen. The first one has its moments. I don't know. I get what you're saying. I catch myself being back and forth on it sometimes. Like sometimes I'll see a line and I'll be like, yeah, this is good. Like this isn't that bad. I don't see like some people are hating on this, and then I'll turn the page and I'll see something else and I'm like, okay, that's fair. All criticisms are valid.
My argument with Civil War is it derails like one of the best Avengers runs we've ever seen. Like, we had this team. Bendis' New Avengers is perfection from Disassembled through the first part of New Avengers through House of M to a post House of M, and then the team gets disbanded for Civil War. And it feels like it never reaches that level because Civil War derails everything. And I'm going to recommend Bendis' New Avengers through Civil War because it is a really good entryway to the Avengers. And he asked the question, what if Wolverine and Spider-Man were on the Avengers? What if it had the star power of the JLA? And it's really funny. It's really grounded. Luke Cage is in it. It was like Bendis writes an amazing Luke Cage. And Jessica Drew's Spider-Woman. And it's just like, it's people you wouldn't expect to be on the Avengers. And, of course, it's still led by Stark and Rogers. And it's just an amazing book that Civil War completely throws in the trash. So, that's a recommendation / bitter point for me. So, I guess another recommendation, if you really want to have some fun, is for current comics, I would start with the Legion of Superheroes by Brian Michael Bendis. We'll stay on the Bendis train. Why not? Brian Michael Bendis has a Legion coming on, and it's really, really fun. If you've never been in the Legion before like me, it's a really good jumping on point. And you get John Kent Superboy aged up. He was cool as a kid, didn't really appeal to me. I think I love his character right now as a teenager. And you just get introduced to the 31st century, and you never have to read any Legion stuff before. You get to jump right in and just enjoy a whole bunch of new stories, and the future looks bright. You get some beautiful art by Ryan Sook, Michael Janin. Oh my God, I'm awful with his name. I don't know I've never heard his name said before. Michael Janin. And we're 4 issues in on that. So if you want to go to the store, pick up those first 4, get caught up. It's amazing. That's what I recommend for you, Kris, if they have that in your shop, because I know they're behind on X-Men.
Yeah.
So, what do you got for me?
Let's see. Look, I am going to do one that I know will make you very, very happy to hear. It's one that, again, I'm behind on reading, but I know that you've read it and you seem to enjoy it. The Jonathan Hickman Fantastic Four.
There we go.
He can do no wrong.
This is
do no wrong.
Go ahead. You what are you up to right now?
I haven't started yet, but it's what I'm going to get tomorrow. I've seen you tweeting about it, so I think I'm going to get that, and I might grab the first one of the Hawkeyes that you just mentioned it, and then I'm going to go ahead and get everything I need for his new X-Men run. But it's something that I'm ready to read, and so I'm like, you know what, I can't hog this good information based off my good friend's tweets and how excited he seems, so I should just let the rest of the world know that.
Oh, thank you.
Should definitely get in the world and get this because.
And run that bad boy right through Avengers. If you want to dive into Hickman's saga, go Fantastic Four, Avengers, New Avengers, Infinity, Secret War. Go through it. It's a journey, and it's so fun and emotional. It'll hit you in areas you didn't know could be hit, man. You cry. It's like, am I crying over Black Panther? Shit, I am. Like, there are so many powerful moments. You understand. And so if you want to have some fun with Hickman, and I finished Secret Warriors, not my thing. That's all spy stuff and S.H.I.E.L.D. A lot of people do love that, though. But his Fantastic Four and Avengers, Fantastic Four more than the Avengers, but all of it is just untouched. And if you can get your hands on that, you will really have a fun quarantine. I guarantee you. And it's epic in proportion. It's a summer blockbuster all the way through. And if you've seen Infinity War, you will see where those ideas are gotten for those battles. It's in that Infinity event. So definitely pick that up. I think if we were to do, since we're on that stuff I want to read, I don't know if I'll get my hands on it, but since I want to dive into more indie comics, I'm going to go all Brian K. Vaughan here. 2 books I wish I could get right now on my hands on, but I'm a budgeting college kid.
I feel that.
Is Y the Last Man and Saga. Have you dove into any of those?
No, I haven't.
So you want to talk about contagions and pandemics? Y the Last Man is a scary. I mean, it's one of those apocalypse, like what ifs. It's ridiculous, but it creates such a great story that I've heard from everyone. It's literally all the men in the world, animals, humans, anybody with an X chromosome dies, except for one man and his monkey. And that's just the whole thing. That's the whole run. And it's just, it's one of those things that I really like. If I save up money and get all the trades for it, it's just like really appeals to me because I know Vaughn is just an amazing writer. I want to get to his Runaways too, but I love a good scary apocalyptic tale, a society, because it's a society all run by women trying to figure out why all the men died. And that's a DC Vertigo one. And of course, Saga is a sci-fi tale by Vaughn in the 2012 more recently, which is I actually don't know too much about it. I think it's a war-torn family. It's like a galactic war. But I don't want to speak too much on it. It's just I know I've heard so much great stuff about it. So do you have anything on your list, anything, DC, Marvel, indie, before we transition to movies that like are your must-wanna reads that you'd love to, if you could in this quarantine, definitely rattle off?
Let me see. I'm gonna go. No, I think I'm trying to keep it contained. Like I said, my shop is pretty stiff with things. So, okay, I found one. I think I want to read Ex Machina. Also by Brian K. Vaughan. I know that they're doing a new movie with Oscar Isaac, and I just the things that I heard about it, it seemed really, 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 really interesting. It's published by DC Comics, and that's certainly one that I'm going to try to get my hands on and read. Light overview on it. I'm going to Google it real quick. Because I kind of know what it is, but I tried to keep it bare minimum because I didn't want to have any of it spoiled for me.
The movie or the book?
The book. There's a comic, Ex Machina, not the movie.
Yeah, I've heard of the movie.
Yeah,
but I didn't know Oscar Isaac was acting in 2015.
No. This is a second one. So not the Ex Machina with the robot. This is like a different thing completely. That's just also called Ex Machina, and Oscar Isaac is also in it. Yeah, I was like you, and I first saw them. I was like, they just made this 4 years ago.
God, hold on. Let me point out another I'm stupid moment. Star Wars came out in 2015, so I don't know what I'm thinking there. That first Star Wars movie.
He was in a couple of things that year.
Yeah, that bad X-Men movie too.
We don't have to talk about it.
My children.
Stop. Let it stay dead.
All right, if you don't have your review up, I find it's a good transition point, don't you think, or you want to get that review up?
We can go ahead and transition if we want to transition from here. We can do that.
I think you're my man are going to help me out with this much since you're bringing up movies. I got a couple of my own for our little quarantine special, but you're my indie movie guy. I know you. I know a couple other people I follow. My brother's kind of into it. He's a big Oscar guy, not as much as he used to be, but I see you active on there. So this is a time where people are suggesting movies. I think, I don't want to say James. It might have been James Gunn. It was definitely another big director tweeting out smaller movies that are on Netflix that people should watch. So I think Kris is going to help me out because this is a time where you might be able to watch movies you would never find the time or interest to watch if the world was acting normal. So, Kris, I don't know how many you got for me, but definitely, what are some of your favorite indie smaller movies, or maybe just flying under the radar that people maybe just now have the time to finally get to?
Let's see, two right off the bat. I'll say so. There are a couple of the ones I'm going to come from are A24, so that way it'll be an indie studio, quote unquote, that's a bit smaller, but they've got pretty good hold on things right now. So I'm going to try to get some things you'll have an easy time finding and be able to watch. But two that I watched rather recently, or I'll give three actually. Good Time with Robert Pattinson in it. Our future Batman is an incredible watch. I think it's the best performance of his career. It's him in a very, 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 very different role that you would never expect him to be in. He's done a lot of stuff like that lately, and I think that's a big one. The Witch, I don't know how big that one is. It's spelled V, but it's got two V's instead of the W. I don't really see much talk about it from a big crowd. You know the movie The Lighthouse that came out last year? Yeah, it's by Robert Eggers. So he did The Witch and The Lighthouse. So Good Time is worth the watch. The Witch is certainly worth the watch. And Enemy, it has Jake Gyllenhaal in it. That one might be maybe a bit bigger out of the three, because I know a couple people who don't really keep up with smaller movies that have at least heard of Enemy before. But they're three really, 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 really different movies, and there are certainly ones that I think would fly under the radar if you're in your everyday life. You're hearing so many things about so many other bigger studios and bigger films that you might not even see them or give them any real thought. But yeah, Good Time, The Witch, and Enemy, they're all A24 movies, are all on Netflix. They are three incredible films. Like I said, they're very different than I think most things that you would see, even with the people that are in it. So those are three that I'll give right off the bat. What do you got?
All right, I'm going to go with the mood right now if you really want to, because I think writer Tim Seeley, comic writer, said it best. Horror comes out in scary situations. Hold on one sec.
Yes. Yes.
I got a cough. I'm hoping I'm all right.
I was going to say
I'm isolated. Nobody's going to get it if I got it. Sorry about that. Please tell me I didn't do that live and get this virus live on recording a podcast. Okay. First off the bat, in the spirit of Why the Last Man is I think it's because I'm talking really loud. I've been going off really loud for like minutes straight. Is in the spirit of Why the Last Man is Children of Men, my favorite independent movie of all time.
Oh yeah.
Yes, yeah. So this is and people are saying like a lot of people are watching Contagion right now. I've never seen it. Some people say it's good. I don't know what your opinion is of it, but if you want to get into the spirit of like post-apocalyptia, it's Children of Men, because it really is a scary scenario. Because can you imagine living with the fact that no more children are born and then you're gonna die? You're gonna be the last of your race. It's a scary topic, and it pays off for a good movie that has been copied twice. It's been copied. It's been that good.
Wait, really?
Yes. Have you played Last of Us?
Yeah. Okay.
It's legit the same premise. And then Logan.
Huh.
Logan.
I guess thinking about it,
Logan is Children of Men.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that now. Thinking about it and looking back, certainly like the themes, just the way that they work. Yeah. I was going to jokingly suggest that people should play The Last of Us during this, but I was like, yeah, maybe not.
You know what? We transitioned pretty quickly. I think we'll do video games after this. Why not? Screw it. But yeah, Children of Men has been copied twice because the main premise of that is a child is born for the first time in like 18 years, and this disillusioned revolutionary man who is not revolutionary. He's an activist. He was an activist, but he's fallen out with society because of the world has gone to shit. And he takes this girl and he has to get him to a ship in the ocean so they can study on how we can reproduce as a species. And it's a good thriller that it just has such amazing moments in it. If you can get your hands, Alfonso Cuarón, I think I said it correct. He's the director, and his style, which my brother hates because it makes him sick, is the camera never stops moving. And that's what makes this movie very good too. It's just it always moves, and you are feeling it's just a really good thriller. Sci-fi kind of, not really, but it's mostly a thriller. But yeah, if you look at it a lot, Last of Us is the same way. Disillusioned guy, he has to get the cure girl Ellie to an institute, and of course Logan, no more mutants in the world, not Scarlet Witch's fault.
Free of
no more
bullying
mutants
this
in the
time.
world again, like the Children of Men, and they have to get her. It's different in the way that they just have to get them the freedom instead of just to reproduce, basically, and get them the freedom. That's the only difference. But yes, he was who's the Logan director? He's amazing.
James Mangold, he's really good.
Yeah.
He Ford versus Ferrari that came out last year was by him. That's really good as well. If I'm going to recommend something bigger, there are a bunch of big things I can recommend, but I guess since you're on James Mangold, the style feels a bit different from Ford v Ferrari from Logan. So if you're just seeing the way that he handled Logan and you're expecting to see that exact same style, he sort of deviates. Obviously, it's a completely different story. One is there are no more mutants. Logan has to protect Laura, and this one's just about it's Christian Bale and it's Matt Damon, and they want to make a car that goes fast. So obviously, there's going to be a couple things within there going to make it work differently. But that is, if I'm going to recommend a bigger release, that's one that I think people should really try to watch if they haven't.
I hate that title so much; it feels lazy.
Well, I know it got a better one. Yeah, they got the Le Mans, I think, whatever year it is. Internationally, it ended up being the name of the race. But I think they like that just worked better, overseas, whatever. Having Ford versus Ferrari in foreign countries, are like, this is dumb. I don't care about this. Why would you name a movie this thing? And
It just sounded so dumb. But my brother, who's the movie guy, is like, "Wow, this movie's really good." I was like, "It sounds like Fast and Furious," and it's like it's one of those things where the title just did not work for me. But I've heard it's good. So to keep on the apocalypse type of thing, because I feel like again, I think it's a perfect time to watch Quiet Place. It's just, I mean, the second one's coming out. I don't know when because, I mean, they haven't announced a delay. It's supposed to come out next week. But
well, yeah, they did announce the delay a little bit a couple of days ago. They ended up delaying it. I can't remember what the date said it was going to be. I don't know if they put the delay date in there, but it's sadly going to be delayed a little bit. Speaking of which, it's funny that you said that. I was literally going to bring up when you're like, Ford v Ferrari, the title didn't work for you. I was literally going to bring up, I was like, I don't know if I'm able to say this out loud, but the title, A Quiet Place, at first I was like, I don't think I care. So it's funny that the next thing that you brought up was A Quiet Place.
It is kind of late. I don't know why. That one doesn't bother me.
I saw it and I love it. Yeah, it's incredible. And
I don't think I've been more into the environment of a movie than when I saw that. That's why I will always recommend it, because you will feel like you're in that movie.
Yeah,
It does a great job. Krasinski is just amazing with that. Everything involved with that movie. It is his. This is why I was talking with my brother again. Quiet Place Part 2 is going to be his aliens, because we're going to be seeing everything. The monster, we're going to be seeing it is talking. Obvious, they're making it apparent there's talking. Where the first one was alien in a way. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's never said it. I was looking for research, but I feel like he was very inspired by Alien, right. Maybe in a way. It does feel like, yeah, it's different, but it's very mysterious like Alien. I would say they're hiding a lot, and it's different. And Aliens is going to be more explosive in terms of the comparison to the first movie, just like Aliens was. Mm-hmm. So I think this is going to be his Aliens, and I'm excited to see, like, he's not going to be doing the same thing he did the first time around. And that's what's exciting. It's not going to be the same movie. So. I guess I got another one. Let's get happy. Okay. I'll get happy. Because I love come on. It's the best time to watch Apocalypse. Yes, I mean, anxiety people, if you really have anxiety, I guess stay away from the horror stuff. Because it's a scary time right now, and if you have anxiety, I mean, any time is bad, but, in all of this, it's very preventable, this disease. Like, and COVID-19 is preventable if you're safe.
Yeah.
And that's the important part about it. So it's good if you have anxiety, read the facts, and just have a good support system. But if you want to just be a good time, and I will say this because I've been listening to the Pina Colada song the entire time, for the past couple of days, Guardians of the Galaxy. It will always be if you want to just have a good time and you're with your family and all that, I will never recommend any movie than Guardians. It is second place in the MCU is Infinity War, and it's not close to that first Guardians movie. Mm-hmm. Like, it is a good time throughout, and I mean, what can you say more? It's gone at its best. The music is amazing. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir who has seen this. Everybody that will listen to this, I don't know how many people listen to this, but everybody's seen it. But you know what? Watch it again. Feel good. Have a good time and feel good about life in general, and just, like, be excited. Like, just have a good – it's just such a good time movie. I listened to that soundtrack on repeat when that movie came out. Like, I had it. I bought this. I bought it off of iTunes because we were still on iTunes at that point, not Spotify yet. And I just had that, and I listened to that music so much, and that's just one of my favorite feel-good movies to watch. So on that note, do you got ourselves a good feel-good movie?
A good feel-good movie? Yeah. I think this is certainly at the top of one of my favorite movies. This might be a bit bigger, but you went Guardians of the Galaxy, so I'm safe. Yeah, I'm safe to get a big one out. I'm safe. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is a movie that I have never in my entire life had a bad time watching. It is high on my that might be as big of a fan as I am of comics and of the Marvel movies when they're done really well. I don't know if there is one singular quote unquote comic book movie that I can just find myself watching and enjoying more than I do with Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Scott, a really big cast, so if that's the thing that you're into. It's got a lot of faces that you'll really love and you'll enjoy seeing them. The style of the movie, I think it's. I mean, obviously, it has effects, and it looks like a comic book. People get hit, and you'll have there'll be thought bubbles at times, and there'll be the sound effects, and there'll be things like that, and it's colorful and it's bright and it's fun. That's my ultimate feel good movie. I can't put into words the right things that I want to sit here and say about it, because I'll carry on the entire rest of the podcast breaking down the intricacies of Scott Pilgrim versus the World from top to bottom, beginning to end.
Have you read it?
No, I haven't read it. No, I haven't. Have you?
I did see a Scott Pilgrim meme. Not a meme, but somebody did post it. Actually, ironically, someone posted on me IRL today of the page that said, who's his girlfriend in that movie?
So at the beginning, it's a girl named Naj Chow, and then he ends up dating a girl named Ramona. That's the one on skates with blue hair. With hers a bunch of different colors. It might be Ramona.
It might be Ramona. It's the line of she's going, "You're the nicest boyfriend I've ever had," and he's like, "That's very sad."
Yeah.
Is that in the movie?
I think that line's in the movie. I think.
Yeah, that's so. Ironically, I did see that on Reddit today. I've heard so many people clamor about that movie. I definitely need to check it out. Of course, I think it's a graphic novel or a comic. I forget. I think it came out in graphic novel form. I think it came out in graphic novel form.
A graphic novel.
And I definitely need to get my hands on that. The art in that is the art, like you said, the PAL and that stuff. Does that art translate to the movie? Did they have like that in the movie?
It does. Like I said, there are scenes where things will happen, and you'll be like, "This is just." I'm watching a comic book, and I know that's something that we say a lot of times. The thing, but it really does feel like it's the most vibrant and on the nose about the fact that, hey, this is a comic book that we're making. We're doing an adaptation of it, and it really leans into that, and it never feels cheap or it never gets annoying. It's a really beautiful film. Like I will say I'm not the biggest fan of everything Edgar Wright has done.
That is Edgar Wright.
Yeah. I don't love Baby Driver the way that everybody else does. I don't think it's terrible, but just his style in that, and it might just be the subject matter. Like I feel, and it certainly says that Edgar Wright style, but it just doesn't affect me in the same way. But man, just Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I honestly found myself wondering, like, it's one of those movies that I'm like, I wonder how it would go under any other director. And I'm just like, I don't know if there's anybody that could have done this and kept it as fun and as light as Edgar Wright kept it.
All right. I didn't think of this. This is off the top of my head because you said Edgar Wright. This is my last suggestion for movies, and it's 3 of them. And you know what I'm going to say because you brought it into my head. It's Edgar Wright's trilogy. Scott, it's, oh, God. Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, Shaun of the Dead.
Hot Fuzz, and then oh god,
is it the bar one?
This is the end. No, this is the end's the comedy movie. Oh goodness,
I know what you're talking about. I'm gonna find it. I know what you're talking about.
This is the end. Is the
World's
Rogen
End?
Movie.
It's the World's End.
World's End. The World's End.
Yeah.
So those 3 movies. So Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and the World's End. I watched them in reverse order. I saw World's End in the theater, then Hot Fuzz came to Netflix, Shaun of the Dead wasn't, and then I watched Shaun of the Dead. And I think the last one, the World's End was my favorite, but if you want to have a good time in a dark world, except for Hot Fuzz is not apocalyptic. But you just want to have another fun time in a scary situations a lot of time. Just watch those 3 movies and watch it with people. It's a really good time. Which one's your favorite?
Out of those, I really think Shaun of the Dead is my favorite out of those 3. Shaun of the Dead, it might just because that's one that I've seen the most time. That's certainly one that I saw first, which I guess is no surprise. But yeah, Shaun of the Dead. I think the first time I ever watched it, I was younger, and it came on like Comedy Central one time, and I think it came on like 3 or 4 days in a row, and I legit think I watched it all, 3 or 4 times. That one's just my favorite. There's just a lot there. The humor, that sense of like it'll kind of get heavy, and you'll be like, it's getting kind of grim with the zombie stuff, and then something just completely outrageous will just happen, and you'll be like, oh yeah, this movie's supposed to be funny. That was hilarious.
no spoilers. It really is vague. In all three movies, this is why Edgar Wright's awesome and why Baby Driver. Well, no, Baby Driver kind of carries it, but not in the same way. And I love Baby Driver. Is the whole third act is what the bleep? It is like it goes off the rails, and you'll just see why. Like even without it sounds like it might be a minor spoiler, but it really isn't. You have to just see it to happen. And all three of those movies, it just gets ridiculous in the third act. And you'll love it, especially like Hot Fuzz. That's Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright's third acts are like, yeah. And then his third acts are the Danny DeVito meme, and then I started blasting. It's just like if you want. So that's why a good time. The Baby Driver equivalent is things just pick up action wise. There's nothing really goes. It kind of goes off the rails in terms of the movie, but in that terms of that movie, it's just the action picks up. But
I'd say that's the way Scott Pilgrim goes a bit. It certainly does. The third act towards the end, most times he'll have a fight with one of the exes, and then it'll be pretty spread out. Like the fight won't just be super complicated or just a super over the top actiony kind of scene. But then, you get to the end and it happens and you're just like, I feel like I'm watching a different movie, but not in a bad way where it takes you out of it, but just he really seems like he was kind of doing a slow build towards this one moment, and then he just, really goes full Edgar Wright, just lets it all out. And you're like, that feels very misplaced, but it's also the best thing that I've seen in a very long time. Would love more of this content.
I mean, the more I think about it, the more I want to go back to it. I'm probably not going to watch much movies until I get really bored with comics, because I have a list of comics I want to read and I want to get out of the way, along with blogs I want to write, and then homework eventually, whenever that's due. I don't know when it's due, but I just know it's going to be due. So that's our suggestions for movies and comics. Quick video game rapid fire. You can help me out missing. All right. Arkham Trilogy for me.
Oh, yes. Yes,
Arkham Trilogy. City, the best. Play the lights off at night, man. You'll feel like you're Batman.
That's how I played. I did not play any of those games during the daytime. I wanted to get fully immersed. I was like, listen, Batman only really does things at night. So
the stories
this has to be the best way. Yeah, they're all good.
So, that's double. We have the movie section, the comics, not so much. We kind of read both of it. The movies were like, we both watched a lot of these. Video games, I'm pretty sure we all played these games I'm going to recommend. Last of Us, he said it. I watched it. I'm going to play it eventually. The second one's coming out eventually. You want to get into the Contagion type of mood, and you've seen Children of Men, and you want to get more of Children of Men. Last of Us. Do you know what came out this week, my man? You know
Game?
It. Yes, you know.
MLB The Show 20.
MLB The Show is out. PS4, fellas. I'm stuck with an Xbox. My brother at home has it. I feel very out of it. I think it's a conspiracy, man. Sony released the virus.
Some people stay inside and play Diamond Dynasty. Battle Royale is calling you.
It's coming. You're going to feel, yes, sports are canceled, but you can play the show.
Yeah. Listen, it's coming to the Xbox soon. I know that they've got a partnership.
But I still think of next gen, I'm going PS5 because I think Microsoft has to impress me. I was kind of, the more I got into it, the more disappointed. That's my 3 ones, because you'll kill a lot of time on that. Am I missing any big ones? That pretty much will take a lot of time.
I was going to say, if I had a game sticking to something that has a bit of Contagion, Spider-Man PS4.
There we go. That game,
it has game. Yes, it has a level with a bit of Contagion, and look, it's going to be a time passer. It's just a fun game that you don't ever want to put down. I think when I started playing, it was like in the middle of a semester, and I was like, man, I should stop playing this so I can do things. But literally, the mindless things feel so funny. The web swing is just really cool. It's probably the best.
It's such a dumb move, but guess what? It's fun. I'm chasing pigeons, but I'm swinging around, so it doesn't suck. It's not like finding Riddler trophies in Arkham Knight, man, where it's tedious and it's like, whatever, I don't want to do it. No, I'm getting pigeons, and I'm like, yes.
Got another one.
I'm taking pictures, dude. You will not put your hands down that game. I cannot wait. I think I heard about the Avengers game coming out. That looks disappointing. You won't be disappointed with Spider-Man if you haven't played it and you've been living under a rock.
Yeah,
but even if you haven't been living under a rock, start it again. You'll pass the time. All these considerations, the best part about, and the reason I really want to do, other than to have fun with Kris, because Kris is awesome, this whole podcast, basically they encourage you that the stuff you can do inside, man. Like, a lot of people are still out and about, and it's a scary time outside where it's like you could be getting other people sick. It's not, a lot of us at our age, college age and younger, it's like, it's not that we will, yes, we'll get it, and I think we'll have a better, obviously less effective, but it's the people we interact with outside that is going to be, it makes it dangerous. That's why I got to say, the CDC is saying it, the government, every health writer, not health, just health, anybody that writes for a health magazine's website, anybody that's in the office, in the hospitals, everything, they're telling you from experience in Italy, Spain, China, all these places, stay inside.
Yeah, man.
Stock up on food, or don't go crazy on food. I mean, you still can go out for groceries. But, don't hoard. A lot of people need stuff. But, of course, just, all this stuff, we just rattled off comics, movies, games you can do inside. There's plenty of other, we didn't talk about books. I mean, there's plenty of books to read on the fingertips of your phone. It's the 21st century. You can get stuff on your phone and your tablets. But, that's the point of this podcast, tell you all the stuff you can do inside while social distancing, staying safe, and you can have a fun time while waiting all this shenanigans out. And then we can go to the ballparks, enjoy hot dogs, good drinks in a safe environment. Yes, I know it makes us sad because it should be soon. March Madness, all that stuff. But I love the ballpark. I love April and all that time. But, man, just wait. The quicker we're inside, the more we're inside, the more the professionals are doing their thing, the less cases they have to deal with, the better. So flatten the curve, everything, and just stay inside. Have fun with all the stuff we suggested. Anything else you got for me, Kris? Anything you got to say?
Let's see. I mean, I guess I would love to chime in and harp on just the thing that you're saying about just staying inside and making sure that you're taking care of yourself in this time. Certainly, like you said, people our age and of healthy young people, we're not at risk to really get too sick from it. It's like you said, we're going to pass it on to people. We're going to give it to somebody who's going to give it to an elderly person and their family, and that's just far from what we want. I know that it's one of these things that people are saying that we might be overreacting a bit, but please don't feel bad about being precautionary at a time like this, because even if you aren't worried, if this continues to escalate and things get shut down, don't find yourself in a situation where you don't have food or you don't have, resources that you might need because you felt like everyone's overreacting. I don't need to go and stock up, on food. If the rest of the world feels like it's going to be a big issue and stores start closing, you don't want to be left with, a more logical attitude, but no toilet paper, So of course, like you said, don't go overboard, but man, don't feel bad about going out and buying some things, regardless of how you feel. If stuff shuts down, fear or no fear, you're going to need food next week, and you don't want to be left without any. So take care of yourself and your family at these times. 2
more important notes, actually, I thought of out of that. Number 1, elderly family members, constantly check in. Constantly check in. Ask, see if you can go get their groceries for them. I just do that. At a time like this, when the elderly are a lot, or this disease might not be, it's all about the elderly. People are scared for the elderly with the COVID-19. If you can go grocery shopping, get supplies for them, please do it. Always check in on them. Make sure everybody's all right. And number 2, people with mental health issues. Keep in contact with them. This is a great time. It's always going to be underrated because of the obvious physical issues that are going on. Anxiety is at an all-time high. I am not a crippling anxiety type of person, but I have anxiety. Like that first night, I did think about bad things and a lot of things, and that I'm not as, I was on the opposite end of the spectrum where it's like, should I even go out to the store, or when should I go out to get stuff? Do I need to go now? How much do I need to buy? People, and I have not, that's just minimal to medium anxiety. Like I have it. I won't be scared to say I have it. There are people a lot worse than me, and if you know them, definitely check in and keep tabs on people. And to the people listening, if you have like mental issues, anxiety, and all this, just read the facts and keep calm. And trust me, it's caution, not panic. Right now. It's remember, caution. We're not panicking. Mm-hmm. And if you know people with mental issues, definitely stay in contact, just like your elderly and family members. That's the important part. But of course, overall, everybody be safe. And of course, thank you again for listening. This was episode 8. A lot of informal recommendations. Definitely check them out. And of course, follow me at kdog_52 on social media. What's your social again, Kris? K_easy13. Did I get it right?
Yep. That's
yeah, there we go. I that was off the memory. I never get anybody's right. At Sports Opinion 30 for the main Sports Opinion podcast page. We have a new logo with all of our podcasts. I never shout out our podcasts. I never do that. This is We're Young with Just Us. We also have the main Sports Opinions podcast where Alex Cuesta has on guests. We have Cuesta Dose with Alex and his brother David. Personal Foul podcast with Rob Planner and Joe Hackett whenever that comes back. And of course, what is the other one? No, there's another one by my boy Colton Gesser, and he's going to kill me when he listens to this for forgetting it. Hold on, I'm going to find it. It is, hold on. This is bad. No, he is Personal Foul Podcast. That's Colton Gesser. That's Personal Foul, and the playbook is Joe Hackett and Rob Planner. Personal Foul is active. But we have a lot of podcasts. We're excited to be working together. I can't believe I haven't shouted them out before. But again, thank you for listening. This has been We're Young with Just Us. Stay safe, wash your hands, and have fun inside, my man. Just it's time to take it easy, man. Like Kris, of course, talking to Kris and talking to all of you, man. You get to relax a bit and show off. Remember, caution, not panic. Stay safe. And once again, wash your hands. Have a great night, everyone.